A'ja Wilson's just a big bully. Look at this. Throws Lexi Hull on the ground. Everything she does is illegal. Look at this one. A moving screen and then pushes Lexi Hull. You think they ever call a foul on A'ja Wilson?
The Las Vegas Aces came out throwing elbows, flopping, and trying every cheap shot but the Indiana Fever didn't back down. Every time A'ja Wilson tried to bully her way through, Indiana answered with speed, toughness, and relentless fight. Vegas thought was intimidation quickly slipped into desperation. When Kelsey Mitchell quieted the crowd with clutch bucket after clutch bucket, it wasn't just scoring, it was payback. This wasn't only about a win, it was about exposing Vegas's dirty play and turning their arrogance against them. After taking the brunt of A'ja Wilson's rough tactics, her response said it all. Explosion symbol comment *** Fever show *** to stand with Indiana as they rise above.
This was supposed to be a night all about A'ja Wilson's legacy. She made history before the ball even tipped, but the game that followed reminded the Aces how tough this playoff run will be.
The Indiana Fever have pulled off the upset, the 6th seed, beating Vegas 89-73 to take game 1.
Just hours before tip-off, all eyes in Las Vegas were on A'ja Wilson as she held up her MVP trophy. The night was set up to be a celebration for the Aces, a statement to the league that this was their time, their series, and their crown to protect. But when the final buzzer rang, that trophy moment felt less like a triumph and more like a distraction. The glitter faded fast once the game got rolling, because everything the Aces assumed would.
A'ja Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces lose game 1 on their home court to the Indiana Fever 89-73. The Indiana Fever were in control of this game from start to finish. There was a small little patch there in the third quarter. We started saying, are the Aces gonna come back? But Kelsey Mitchell and Odyssey Sims said, no, they're not going to come back, not at all.
Coming into the matchup, the Aces wore the tag of overwhelming favorites. The media hype painted Indiana like they barely belonged on the same court. The storyline was written before the Fever even stepped out of the locker room. Vegas had the defending champs, the superstar names, the winning streak. Indiana were missing 6 players to injury. Caitlin Clark was sidelined. Sophie Cunningham was out. Sydney Coulson, too. And the list didn't end there. To most experts, it looked like a mismatch, a game decided before it began. That overconfidence even echoed from the Vegas bench, where head coach Becky Hammon boldly reminded everyone that Indiana hadn't yet faced the real Aces. The message couldn't have been clearer.
Actually just referenced it twice. It is Indiana. Dropped 2 of the 3 games to them this year, but you haven't seen them since late July. What excites you about that matchup?
That they haven't seen the real Aces yet. They caught us when we were at a bit in turmoil. Not only that, they whooped us one of those stretches. So, you know what? We'll buckle in, hone in where we can, and take care of business.
While Vegas basked in all the pre-game hype, the Fever were barely mentioned, treated like a footnote in someone else's story. Analysts spoke about Indiana as if they were nothing more than a speed bump on the Aces' path to another title. And honestly, that was the best thing that could have happened to the Fever. When no one expects you to win, you're free. No pressure, no weight, nothing to lose. That kind of freedom was on full display the
court, the Fever crashed the party. Kelsey Mitchell dropped a playoff career-high 34 points to spoil the night with an 89-73 win.
In the second half, I just felt like our physicality and our pursuit was not there. Like, we died on screens. You have to have second and third efforts. Even if you know you might be beat, you still have to try hard to get back into the play, and I don't think we tried hard in that category.
Instead of folding under the noise, Indiana came out blazing, pushing the pace, whipping the ball around, and knocking down shots while Vegas, for all their swagger, looked a step behind. Suddenly, it wasn't the Fever carrying their weight, it was the defending champs, forced into a fight they never saw coming. And it's wild how fast swagger turns into panic when the underdog refuses to blink. By the final buzzer, the story nobody bothered to tell was the headline. 72% of teams that steal Game 1 in a best-of-5 go on to take the series. One upset just flipped the math. And on their own floor.
You better not blank on a miss, bitch. You might get ranked. Shot back. Let it go. Right. Go. What is? Fly, somebody. You don't want to fight no hitter? No. Nigga, I'ma shoot you in the face. Duh.
The second Indiana refused to break, everything shifted. The Aces abandoned crisp basketball and slipped into something uglier. You could see it right away. Offense gave way to shoves, jawing, and desperate fouls. Instead of trusting their rhythm and ball movement, Vegas reached for shortcuts. What was supposed to be a showcase of dominance quickly unraveled into the league's top team grasping at...
Hall was getting pushed all game. Look at that. Like elbowed, pushed, but guess who fell? That's an illegal screen. She leans into Lexi Hall, pushes her. Look at this. Pushes Lexi Hall down. Like, I can't take this crap. I'm sick of watching it over and over. That's a moving screen. And then pushes her again. Look at that. You can't do that. They didn't call any. This is the only one they called a foul. She straight pushed Kelsey Mitchell into A'ja Wilson.
A'ja Wilson set the tone in the worst possible way. Instead of leading with her game, she tried to bully her way through, and not in a way that wins championships. She threw elbows off the ball, leaned into players after the whistle, and on multiple transition plays delivered shoves that had nothing to do with defense. The flops were just as blatant, collapsing like she'd been leveled by a truck when replays showed nothing more than routine contact. At one point, she even hooked an opponent's arm on a rebound, then hurled herself
in this pathetic foul to start the game off with. But ball never lies. I love when karma happens. Yeah, miss your free throw. And then here we go. Check this out. A foul. Look at this when she swings her elbows on Powers. And Powers just holding her ground, but it's a foul. Let's go through this. This is A'ja Wilson. I'm so big and bad. No, you didn't get touched. It wasn't that cool. You made a layup.
And the Aces took their cue. Jackie Young turned screens into collisions, throwing her body like it was football, not basketball. Away from the ball, Fever players absorbed blindsided hips and shoulders disguised as physical play. It slowed the game's rhythm, but it never rattled Indiana. If anything, the Fever seemed...
But then Aaliyah Boston swings her elbows around and makes a shot, but no, she can't do it. She's a Fever. An Indiana Fever. She said, that's a flop. That's what Caitlin said. Here we go. A'ja Wilson. Look at her trying to flop to get a call. Nobody touched you. And this is the biggest bullcrap of the game. So Kelsey Mitchell goes in for a layup. A'ja Wilson shows them their lip, so they review it. Ever see an Indiana Fever player get a review when they're called for a foul and they zoom in with a microscope and call it technical? They called it technical on Kelsey Mitchell.
Every hard foul only seemed to ignite Indiana's rotation. Kelsey Mitchell answered by demanding the ball even more. Odyssey Sims responded by tightening her defense, refusing to give an inch. In the paint, Natasha Howard and Brianna Turner absorbed every shove and answered with discipline, holding their ground without taking the bait. What Vegas thought would break the Fever only fueled them further.
A'ja Wilson, look at that foul they called for. Yeah, saved her. That's some bullcrap. I love Aaliyah Boston. Great job today playing defense. Look at that. Another foul. Bailed out by the refs. I get pissed off. This is the worst one. They call this a jump ball. How is that a jump ball? Nobody even had possession. Aaliyah Boston, that's anything is over the back. Not a jump ball.
Mitch put him in a ditch. Who on the Las Vegas Aces is going to try to stop Kelsey Mitchell? Because from what I just saw, they had no answer for her. Kirsten Bell, line right up, smacked. Jackie Young, step right up, torched. Chelsea Gray, torched. Jewel Lloyd, torched. Nobody could hang with Kelsey Mitchell as she goes off